Hello and welcome to today's YouTube tutorial from Peakboard. Today I want to show you how you can create a dashboard for your workers with a Microsoft Teams integration. How this works, I'll show you now. I'm starting here in the Peakboard Designer by adding a Microsoft Teams data source. For this I click here on Data and select Office 365 and here I select Teams. Let's call this data source problem data. Here I need to authorize against Microsoft. I already did this, so I can reuse my existing connection and retrieve my Microsoft Teams data. First I select my team, in that case it's my Peakboard share, and I also select the Teams channel. In my case it's YouTube EN. Let's click here on load data, where we can already see one problem message. We get here an ID, which is also important later to answer to this message. We get the date, the user, and also the message of the Microsoft Teams message. Let's click on OK. Now I will process this data with a data flow by clicking here on this data source. And what I want to do here, just to get the data from my production line. So in case we have multiple production lines with this dashboard, I can just select the important ones. So let's call it problem 6 and click here on include only rows with this value. I click now on OK. And what I'm going to do now is to add some variables. The first one will be my last message ID. So this is the message ID of the last message I've sent in Microsoft Teams, which I later will need to answer to my message. Let's click on OK. Then I add variable called OK, so it's the state if it's OK or if currently a problem occurred. Here by default I set it to true, so everything is fine by default. Let's add one more variable. I call this one problem text, which contains the text of my problem I want to report. Now first I add a text to my canvas and add my header here. Let's call it production line 6 and center this. Also the font should be set to header 1 because it's the header. Now I drag the problem text on my canvas where I select the text box. So in that case it should be a text box for which allows me to insert my problem text here later. I also set a background here so it's a little bit highlighted. Then I add a button on the bottom left, which will be the button for reporting the problem later. So let's place it here on the left side. I set the border size to 0, so I don't want to have a border here, but a background, and the text should be report problem. Now by double clicking on this button I can set my logic behind. So the first thing I need to do here is set the variable OK to false, because when we report a problem, of course not everything is okay anymore. And then I go to publish to external systems where I can find Teams, and here I click on send message. In that case I want to send a message with problem in line 6. Then I reload and await my data source. It's important to select reload and await here because I want to work with my data directly afterwards here in my building blocks. So when I select reload and await, I can continue afterwards with the new data, which then includes the message I've just sent above. I do the same for the data flow, which preceded the problem data. And then I set my variable last message ID to the message ID I get from my list. So here I just select from my data flow the first row, which is the last one, and here I want to have the ID, which gives me back the message ID, which I can use for replying on this message. In case there's a problem text set, I also want to use that one and directly post it underneath my message. So in that case, I click here on get variable, and if my problem text is not empty, in that case I want to send a replay to my last message ID with the problem text, and the message ID I get from my variable I've set here above. Then as last, I want to set the problem text to empty, so the text box is cleared afterwards. Let's click on Save and Close. Okay, now I add a button on the right side, which will be the OK button. So everything is fine again. When I press on this button, the border size again is 0. The background in that case is green to show that it is a good state. In that case, I just want to set the variable OK to true, so it's OK again. And I want to send a replay on my last message ID I've set before, and in that case I just send a replay problem solved and click here on Save and Close. So now we are mostly done. The last thing I want to do here is create some conditional formatting to disable the text box and the buttons in the case that it is already OK. So if the OK state is false, we have a problem currently. In that case, I don't want to allow to set another problem. So in that case, I set is enabled to false. I can just copy this logic, copy conditional formatting, and paste it here. Here we do exactly the same. So if when it's not OK currently, then we don't allow to set it to another problem. And I paste it again here to the OK button, but in that case I want to inverse the logic. So in that case, if it is OK, I don't want to allow to click on OK. So now we are done. Let's click here on the preview button on the top, and here we go. I can enter here a text. Click on report problem. You can already see I cannot press on the OK button right now because everything is OK. So let's click here on report button. So now you can see the left side is disabled and the OK button is enabled. And when I go to Microsoft Teams now, you can see here we have the problem, the answer with material missing, we just inserted there. And when I press on the OK button, then the problem solved will appear. That's it for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.